Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. So on this episode of why the Giants should draft whoever, blankety blankety blank, whatever you want to fill in. My first episode was Jalen Waddle. The second episode was trading back. This third episode is going to be Jaelan Phillips. Jaelan Phillips is the best edge rusher in this class, bar none. If you plow him against Chase Young, against all of the other pass rushers over the last couple of years, a ton of people have pretty much agreed with this, that he'd be right behind Chase Young. He has everything that you want. He has the athleticism. He's not the top level athlete that a Chase Young is, but he's got the refinement, and he's not the refined guy that Chase Young is. So everything that Chase Young is, he's like a tick behind, just a tick behind, which makes him a lesser prospect. But very well, if he was healthy, if he was completely healthy, nothing problem, no wrong, nothing wrong with him, he would be going top 5. He probably would be going top 5. He would not be able to make it past Atlanta because they need defense badly. They need someone to play some defense badly for them, and he couldn't. I just don't see them passing on an edge rusher that's that good, that's healthy. Maybe even in real life, this is all a smokescreen, and the Falcons right now are talking about possibly taking him. But Jaelan Phillips is completely the full package. He's everything that you want. There's really hard to find flaws in his game on the field. He's someone that can really come off of the edge. He can be effective just as an edge guy. He can be effective in coverage. Now, that's more of a projection, but I have seen drills where he's dropped back and he's looked very fluid dropping back. So that shows that he will be very, multiple for what he could do. You don't want to line him up inside or anything, but there are times where you might trust him covering a running back that's not an elite route runner coming out of the backfield, because he does have that athleticism to even backpedal downfield at a pretty decent speed. So he's really got all of the tools. Now, the issues, of course, 3 concussions. One happened in that motorcycle accident where he's got some knee issues too coming back from that. So, of course, you note that. But at the same time, there are a ton of ways that people can get injured, especially NFL players. You could get injured your first game and never play again. You could be injured, 5 years until anything can happen. So using those past injuries, they're very vital. They're very important to consider when evaluating a prospect. But at the same time, getting his talent on the field takes the Giants defense from a possible top 5 defense already to a dynasty style defense. Not saying that we become a dynasty, but a dynasty level defense, like the Denver Broncos, like the Seattle Seahawks. Except the Seahawks was more about their secondary, which we already have an incredible secondary with Logan Ryan there. I don't know why I started with Logan Ryan, but Logan Ryan, James Bradberry, Jabril Peppers, Xavier McKinney, those guys already, are the pretty much the vets of the crew. And then you got Darnay Holmes, and then you got Adoree Jackson, and then you'll probably be adding someone else. I think it was Jason McCourty, not Devin McCourty. Jason McCourty was interviewing with the Giants, and I'm thinking that they will sign him if they can't find another corner in this draft. So it seems like we're going to be 5 or 6 deep at corner, because we have Isaac Yiadom still on the roster, and he was our second corner last year. Having him as the 5th or 6th corner this year is going to really do numbers for us. So we've got the secondary, and then we brought back Leonard Williams. We still have Dexter Lawrence there at the front. We have a rotation of defensive tackles that I feel really confident about already. And then throwing Danny Shelton into the mix. Now he's on the team. So we're going to have a great defensive line as far as taking up double teams, because Danny Shelton and Dexter Lawrence right there, that's 700 pounds. They're going to have to account for that. They cannot just leave those guys one-on-one, because they will collapse the pocket just on their short, sheer size. And then you have Leonard Williams there, who's going to command a double team if you don't want him to wreck the game. And then possibly beside Leonard Williams is a Jaelan Phillips. And Jaelan Phillips is day one, he's an 8 to 10 sack guy. I believe he's an 8 to 10 sack guy day one in the NFL. Across from him could possibly be Lorenzo Carter or maybe a later round pass rusher. We can really flip this defense by taking Jaelan Phillips at 11. It is going to be a huge risk for whoever takes him because he does have that injury issue, but he definitely has the talent worth taking that risk. I mean, if you really look at the rest of this edge group, there's a ton of projecting. And you don't take any edge at this pick, in my opinion. I'm seeing the rumors that we're interested in Kwity Paye. I don't think you take any other edge at this 11th spot because their talent level just doesn't match up with the Jalen Waddle, with the Devontae Smith, with the Rashawn Slater. It just doesn't match up. And I don't think that you should take a player like that when there are going to be 4 or 5 quarterbacks going this year, and you're going to have a shot at basically a top 4 or 5 player in this NFL draft, not including the quarterbacks. And to waste that on someone like Kwity Paye, who, I mean, I wouldn't be angry if we took him, but to waste that on a player that we can get at 11 pretty much in every single draft. You can pretty much get a pass rusher of his caliber at 11 in every single draft when we could get a life-changing wide receiver or a life-changing defensive back. Well, I don't think that's absolutely our first need at all. We're really stacked there, but you can get a life-changing kind of prospect there. And instead, you take someone who's pretty much just worth the 11th pick. So you can't be mad because he's worth the pick, but I think there's going to be better talent there. So that's why I believe that if we take an edge, it should be Jaelan Phillips. Now, as you see me making these videos, realize that this is a series, and I've made 2 other videos right now of what the Giants should do. This isn't my end-all be-all on what the Giants should do. This is just a series. But I think that Jaelan Phillips would be worth that pick. I would not be angry at all if we took him. I think that at least, hopefully, he'll be able to give us a season or 2 of production. And I'm thinking at the end of the day, the injuries will be much ado about nothing. He'll end up playing, having a decently long NFL career, and a really productive one. Because if he can just stay healthy, that skill set translates perfectly over to the NFL for him to be a dominant edge rusher and really flip the Giants defense. I mean, we were already top 10, but if you stick him beside Leonard Williams, imagine what what offenses are going to have to plan for every week to have to deal with that secondary and then have to deal with Leonard Williams and then having someone lying beside him that is just as disruptive or even more. And then also pretty good against the run, really good against the run. That's one thing about this edge class. Most of them are really good against the run. So at the end of the day, it is pretty much a coin flip for who we take at 11. But Jaelan Phillips would definitely be worth some consideration because he has all the tools. It's just about if you want to take the risk on the injury. So you guys let me know what you think of possibly taking Jaelan Phillips. Again, this is not my end-all be-all opinion. This is just for part of the series. If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.